this show tonight is all about dolphins. Now, dolphins are very familiar to all of us. We watch them on TV and films. We fawn on their likenesses in pop culture and stuffed toys. And we are enthralled by their amazing beauty, their intelligence, and their grace. And tonight we're going to talk about dolphin captivity and the shocking wholesale slaughter of dolphins in some parts of the world, including Japan. Joining us in the studio are two animal rights activists and advocates. We're joined first by Ms. Trixie Concepcion, and she is the Regional Director of Earth Island Institute Philippines. Joining her is Ms. Cabrera, who is the Executive Director of Philippine Animal Welfare Society, or PAWS for short. Welcome, ladies, to Philippines Uncut.
Thank you for having us. And good evening, people.
Thank you very much. Let's start by talking about your organizations. Let's start with the Earth Island Institute Philippines.
Earth Island Institute is actually the local office of Earth Island Institute in the United States. We are a grassroots organization which has over 40 projects all over the world. One of our biggest projects is the Dolphin Project, which aims to free all captive dolphins all over the world, as well as protect dolphins from fishing industry, like the tuna industry. So that is one of our biggest projects in the world. And well, one of the biggest engagements we have is with Taiji, Japan, where one of the largest slaughter, the most cruel and the largest slaughter of dolphins occur in the whole planet.
How big exactly? You said Earth Island Institute is it's an international organization. How many chapters do you have all over the world?
We actually, the head office, we have about 40 projects based in the United States, and we have about, I think, a handful of projects based outside of the United States. We have over 25,000 members. Members, meaning they can get updates about the activities of the organization, they can use it, and they can participate in each and every project they wish to of the institute.
In Asia, I mean, are there a lot of activities of this organization?
Yes, for one, we have our campaigns are quite big in Asia. For example, in Taiji, Japan, that's our #1 project. And then we also have the project in the Solomon Islands, where we are also trying to convince local populations to give up their centuries-old practice of hunting and killing dolphins. We also have the project in Indonesia, where in some remote islands they catch orca whales for food. And of course, in this whole entire area, East Asia Pacific area, we conduct the largest food auditing system, where we audit tuna canning companies to make sure that the process of catching the tuna fish is not detrimental to dolphin populations in the oceans.
Now, let's go to Anna. Talk about PAWS. Nice name.
Yeah, we're
Very
basically a local group, and we're more known for advocating the dog and cat protection. But actually, PAWS is for the protection and promotion of all animal welfare, and all animals, not just domesticated animals, but even wild animals. It's just that we're a volunteer group, primarily volunteers, and we're an all-Filipino group. And we have volunteers, mostly doing shelter work, caring for the dogs and cats that have been victims of cruelty and abuse. And then we lobby for laws that seek to expand protection of animals in the Philippines.
You've been quite successful, no? With some of the legislation that you guys are trying to pass or have passed.
Yes, we actually lobbied for the Animal Welfare Act, and it's the first ever anti-cruelty law of the country, and this is the first in Southeast Asia that we had. But it's up for amendment, and we are pushing for the amendment because it's a 14-year-old law, and the penalties prescribed are a bit outdated, and they're not really becoming a deterrent for cruel people. Yes. Yes.
Alright, so good luck in that endeavor. Let's talk about dolphins now, which is really the main thrust of our show. Trixie, how are dolphins unique as a species in the animal kingdom? I mean, how come you guys are focusing on dolphins?
Actually, we're focusing on dolphins in particular because some human activities like fishing and like the dolphin show industry is creating a situation where some of the populations are now endangered. In particular, you have the dolphin hunts in Taiji, which is just indiscriminately killing several species of dolphins and whales. So why are we focusing on them? They're also, according to scientists, one of the more intelligent animals in the animal wild animals that have known to be helping humans in distress.
A lot of stories about that, yes, absolutely.
Documented
Against
stories.
sharks and people who've been victims of sea disasters. A lot of stories about them being rescued or helped to safety by dolphins.
Exactly, and these are all documented, and scientists themselves have attested to the intelligence of these animals and compassion, not only towards their own young, empathy, but towards human beings, which is not part of their species.
And that really demonstrates a higher level of intelligence. When a being or creature is able to empathize or show emotion or feel for another being, then that is really a sign of as I said, a high, almost human level of awareness.
And we as humans, knowing this about dolphins, should not be, we believe, killing them en masse or using them for dolphin shows, which is actually an insult to their intelligence. To us, it's better to actually watch these majestic animals in the wild.
Before we go there, how smart are dolphins really compared to dogs? Because man's close interaction, and I'm sure Anna will agree with me, are cats and dogs. I'm personally a dog, I'm not a cat person, but both are smart. But when people talk about smart animals, first thing comes to mind, dogs. How smart are dolphins when you put them side by side? I mean, dogs, are they smarter than dogs?
Well, some scientists say in terms of brain size, dolphin has a larger brain size than a dog. And then in terms of activities that they can do, how they can play around with things, sometimes the dolphins have a higher level of playfulness than dogs. They can manipulate things, a sense of being playful. That shows a high intelligence.
But very similar to dogs then. They're like dogs in the ocean.
That's right.
Very similar in many ways.
That's
Playfulness, intelligence, attachment to humans, closest to humans.
But they're wild.
But they're wild.
Yeah, they were never domesticated at all in their biological evolution. So that sets them quite apart.
Are they dangerous in the wild?
Yes and no. In the wild, the research is that when you have dolphins in captivity, that's when they become more dangerous. But in the wild, they are dangerous to one another. Like orca whales, they can kill bottlenose dolphins for food or small porpoises for food. So they are dangerous to one another. But when you put them in captivity, that's when they become dangerous to humans.
Okay. Let's talk about how the two of you got together. I understand that you two ladies have known each other for a long time, and it's been collaboration over not a few years. How did you hook up?
Well, we go way back, Trixie and I, and as usual, we are a dog and cat group, and the thrust of PAWS really is to increase awareness by using the animals or putting at the forefront animals that people are more familiar with, and there's no animal that more people are familiar with other than cats and dogs. But then Trixie came in 1998, and she said, there's this dolphin show, traveling dolphin show, which will be put up in Ayala malls, and this is a cause for concern because they're trying to bring in something to the public and passing it off as educational and conservational, and there's actually a big cruelty behind it. And me, as a volunteer PAWS then, we didn't really understand the cruelty behind it. And when she gave us all these materials, scientific evidence that these wild animals are taken forcibly from their pods, and they're forced to perform, and they're really, their wild spirit is, they're shattered just so to make them perform. We began to understand that making dolphins perform for our entertainment is the most cruelest thing, most unethical thing that humans can do to a wild, free spirit.
Interesting what Anna said about being separated from the dolphin, being separated from its family, its pod. You said the pod. Is that what you call dolphin grouping?
Yes.
Pod. Now, you mentioned dolphins are very social animals. Do they really have that kind of connection with? I mean, can they identify with a dolphin family?